New tonight on the eve of his execution, a story you've never heard about the St. Louis couple who formed a death row connection with the synagogue sniper. News Channel 5's Ann Allred is in the Breaking News Center with a story you'll only see on News Channel 5. Ann?
This South County couple has known Joseph Paul Franklin for 16 years. It all started when Franklin called Dr. Peppers' Christian radio show, Talk from the Heart, and confessed on air to one of his murders.
I killed them for being race mixers, and now they've got an innocent man in prison for it.
A murderer's confession, here in writing and on Dr. Debra Peppers' local radio show in 1997. Serial killer Joseph Paul Franklin was in a St. Louis jail at the time. A white supremacist charged with murdering Gerald Gordon outside a Richmond Heights synagogue in 1977. This letter would be the first of 6 years of correspondence with Dr. Peppers. Most of it questions from Franklin.
It was, well, what do you think about this part of life? Or what do you think about this God moment? It turned out to be that he was generally questioning, what makes you tick, lady?
Dr. Peppers, a founder of a Christian ministry, insists the relationship was divine intervention.
It had to be, for after my husband contacted the FBI and they confirmed that the additional confessions were legitimate, my producer arranged for us to interview Joseph Franklin in prison. First of all, the guard who took us in just happened to be one of my former students. Secondly, I saw no remorse or Christian concern in his eyes, words, what he was saying, so I asked my husband to speak to him. And as they did, in the first moments of their conversation, Joseph asked my husband where he grew up. And he said, Mobile. He said, no, come on, you know I'm from Mobile. No, I didn't. He was extremely dubious, and he said, okay, then where'd you go to school? My husband said, Murphy High School. Come on, you know I went there. No, he said, I didn't. And thirdly, he said, what year were you there? And it was the exact same time. And we stayed in touch for a while.
But later, they lost touch for about 10 years. Until she heard Franklin would die of lethal injection this month. So she and her husband went to visit him in prison 4 days ago.
But after the first 15 minutes, he was such a changed man.
Franklin told her he wasn't allowed radio or TV privileges for the last 13 years. One of the few books he had access to was the Bible.
And he said, I have read the Bible frontward to backward to frontward to backward to frontward to backward. And so I started asking him some scripture, and he knew every single one.
Franklin only gets to have 5 people at his execution Wednesday. He asked the Peppers to come and see him die. Does Joseph deserve to die?
According to the law, he should, because I believe in man's law as well as God's law.
Franklin has said he's a changed man in recent interviews from prison. Before he is executed, he will get to visit with the Peppers. They're driving there tomorrow. They've agreed to deliver messages to his family in Alabama. He's also asked the Peppers to make sure his family has the opportunity to become Christians.
Now awaiting execution at the Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center in Bonne Terre, Missouri. Franklin blames it on a misguided sense of right and wrong.
I've been, indoctrinated. My mind was just all messed up after having read a whole lot of Nazi literature. Mein Kampf was the main one I read.
Franklin insists he's a changed man now, changed by the Lord, and nothing like the one who killed Gerald Gordon 36 years ago. He says he didn't want to alarm Mrs. Gordon by reaching out.
But I would apologize to her right now, tell her I'm sorry for the horrible crime that I committed, and ask for her forgiveness.
Do you think you deserve to die?
Well, to tell you the truth, I actually think I do, yeah. To be quite honest with you, I cannot say no to that question.
Tonight, people will gather outside Bonne Terre Correctional Center to protest his execution. Franklin has implicated himself in as many as 20 other killings, but most famously, he's also the man who shot and paralyzed Hustler founder Larry Flynt.
Yesterday, Governor Jay Nixon refused to halt it. Franklin says he's no longer a racist, that he was wrong, and he's sorry for his crimes. Those who know him say he's been reading the Bible.
Most people out there, they're heading toward a burning hell and they don't know it.
Do you think something lies for you on the other side after November 20th?
Yeah, but it isn't a burning hell, though, because I'm a servant of the Lord, though.
I think we're about out of time.
Well, let's not say that. You just...
Two people that have been invited to be in the room when Franklin's put to death.
In 2 hours, a convicted serial killer was supposed to be put to death, but a pair of 11th hour rulings may delay the execution of the synagogue sniper.
Mike, this is a very fluid situation out here. We are being kept up to date, but the officials here at the Correctional Center tell us that they don't even know exactly what is happening legally. Even though there have been 2 stays that have been granted, officials say they have not been told to stop the planning for that execution scheduled at 12:01 tonight. During all of this, we've been in touch with a couple who stayed in touch with Franklin. They met up with him just a few hours ago, tell us he looked peaceful, ready for his fate, whatever that may be.
He said, they may not forgive me, but I would like to apologize. I am a changed man. I'm sorry I had all of that Aryan nation upbringing and I had all of this in my head. And he said, I believe that I was mentally ill.
So the clock is ticking, and as of right now, the officials here at the correctional facility say the execution scheduled for 12:01 is still on. And I will tell you that the security is heightened out here. There are officers still surrounding. We are still on lockdown out here. Just as an execution happening at 12:01, everything is planned, is scheduled.
And an official here at the prison says the process of that execution is underway, and it will take some time for the actual execution to happen, but they have to bring him into the room where it will happen, and I'm told again that process is underway. And Joseph Paul Franklin will be put to death. The U.S. Supreme Court denied his request for his execution to be stopped. There has been several twists and turns for the last 24 hours. There were 2 judges that actually did say, let's halt the execution for some reasons. That was actually overturned by the U.S. Appeals Court, and then just now the U.S. Supreme Court agreed with the appeals court, saying that the execution will go on. We did talk to 2 people, a couple from St. Louis County. They'll actually be inside the room. They have kept close ties with Franklin over the years, and they say he is a changed man, that he has been reading his Bible, and that they went in today. They actually recited the Lord's Prayer with him, and he did tell them that either way, because he knew that his execution was up in the air, he did say, either way, I'm good, I have the peace. Those were his words to the couple, and they reiterated that to reporters.
We stayed in the chamber under guard until 3 a.m., but since the stay was still on, we went back to our motel. Then Joseph called us at 5:30 a.m. He had been fasting for 2 days, and we prayed together for God's will. Unbeknownst to us, we were spared the viewing of the actual execution.
At approximately 6:07 a.m., the lethal injection of pentobarbital was administered. At 6:17 a.m., Joseph Franklin was pronounced dead.
As soon as the process began, he swallowed hard a couple times, breathed heavy a couple times, and then he simply stopped breathing.
He didn't make any final written statement. He didn't make any verbal statement. He was calm. He was peaceful. He was cooperative.
I ask that Missourians remember Gerald Gordon at this time and keep his family and the victims of Franklin's many other crimes in your thoughts and prayers.
Did he ever show any emotion in those days and hours leading up to his execution?
One of the prison ministers said she was with him last night and they said the Lord's Prayer and that he seemed at peace.
Our hearts and sincerest prayers go out to all of the victims' family and friends. May God be with you.